Hello, my loves. How are you? So, I just posted a video on Patreon connected with the masculine and feminine collectives. And once again, this very deep message feeling very significant around the importance of the inner child retrieval and restoration for both masculines and feminines, for humanity, for all of us. This I've known is a very pivotal and key piece, not only to sacred union, internal union, but also to our ascension processes, the magic, the beauty, the play, the creativity, the life force, and just that pure essence of the inner child, right? In the importance of the restoration of that part of our essence prior to actually being placed in the societal programming, right? The parts that were suppressed, not just within us, but also within our ancestral lines. So for the mother and the father and all of the ancestors. Okay. So I was deciding how I wanted to go about this because I can feel so deeply how important this is. And yes, I have videos, and yes, I have the session special where I'm offering specifically the inner child retrieval and restoration for like $43 off the normal regular price. That will be through the month of May. So I'll put that information in the pinned comment. But honestly, I felt this topic is important on so many levels and for so many reasons that I've decided that I want to do a free session here on YouTube as well, so that all of you have access to it. You may find this is supportive and all you need. You may find that you love this and then still want to go deeper. And obviously here to support you with that, or, find whatever supports work for you. And I want to see what unfolds. But as I prayed on it, the reason I really was guided to do the session was because I actually feel so much frozen energy in the collective connected to the divine inner child restoration. And so I especially feel this quite significantly on the masculine side. So even as feminines, this is tying into where we're thawing those protective and control mechanisms. It's our internal sort of masculine essences that protect us. So a lot of what is protecting and sort of even in cases suppressing the inner child is our own internal masculine energies attempting to protect that part of ourselves. Okay. It's quite common. I found it many times within myself and within many sessions that quite a bit of the inner child consciousness or subconsciousness is often quite frozen for multiple reasons, starting often with the fact that even no matter how conscious we were when we were born, if our parents or grandparents or family members or the people caring for us were not at that level of consciousness that we were holding, many of us, if not all of us, at some point in time, usually around the age of 2 or 3, start to shut down that higher consciousness. Because I don't know about you, but for me, it became very frustrating and almost scary to be experiencing things that the adults around me were unable to see, feel, or sense, at least in their current consciousness. And so it was very overwhelming and often frightening for me as a little one. And so I have a very distinct memory at around 3 getting so frustrated that I just shut it down. And then there was a second phase where from like 3 to 12, I sort of just did, what everyone else was doing and really sort of sunk up with the way the consciousness was in my world. And around 12, I had some traumatic events happen in my life. My parents got divorced and there was a multitude of other things that happened. And in this process, everything I had been taught or agreed to from 3 to 12 fell apart. And this was very fascinating in retrospect, not then, but now I can see where this was such another pivotal point because I had shut down one part of my consciousness at 3, agreed to listen to whatever was happening on the planet, and then at 12 had this clarity that even all of the things that they were teaching me and showing me weren't necessarily true. And so at that point, a lot of the things in my world and in my life, I could no longer trust because intuitively and in my heart, I knew it wasn't quite right. But then I had done, I be participate in it because I didn't know what else to do. Okay. Listen, even you can feel like this is a part that's probably pretty commonly happening on our planet. I know the little ones being born now are coming into higher consciousness and aren't necessarily having to process the same way we are, but some of them are. But either way, this feels important. And this is what I want to support today. I want to just hold space to support your system in thawing out any of the aspects of you from now back through your inception or conception, and any of those parts that may be ready to begin to thaw out, to be retrieved, and to be restored for your system. Okay. This one that I told you about my 12-year-old self, really just that way I just expressed it to you, I wasn't able to see that before until about 3 weeks ago. And I could see where I was making different agreements as a child to fit in and where it all really started to unravel, which of course was uncomfortable, but it's also exactly what led me to where I am now. It's what led me to you. It's what led me to this work because I realized that the things that were in front of me and that I was seeing was not the truth. And I set out on a quest to find the truth and in a way that resonated with me and my soul more deeply. And hence why I'm here. So, whatever way you connect with this, I just want to start out, of course, by honoring you, welcoming in your higher self essence to support you and your inner child through this entire process, supporting you in a way that is perfect for your system, physically, emotionally, and spiritually, knowing and trusting that whatever does thaw is because you are ready to retrieve and restore these parts of yourself. Of course, you can come back and partake and listen and participate with this as many times as you feel guided. Okay. We're also going to welcome in your direct personal connection to Mother Earth and also inviting in the divine highest power, the source of your creation, to support this entire process. All right, my loves. So I'm going to start out by having you just get yourself nice and comfortable. Okay, the goal is to try to stay conscious and present while we're doing this session. But since we're going into frozen areas, you may find yourself going in and out or even getting sleepy. That's okay. Honor that. But that's also a signal that you may want to do this recording several times until you reach a point and maybe even beyond where you can stay fully conscious with the recording. It's okay if you get sleepy. It's okay if you don't stay fully conscious. It's just a signal that there's quite a bit in your system that is ready to be retrieved and restored. Okay. All right. So I'm going to have you again take a nice, comfortable seat, preferably with your feet on the floor, and taking some nice, deep breaths into your heart space, and just allowing your energy and essence to drop into your heart. And again, as we welcome your higher self to support this process, we're just going to ask to begin to start to thaw any parts of your energy or your subconscious, specifically connected to your inner child or inner teen. Even any aspects of you now that may be frozen as a result of things that occurred in your childhood or since your conception. And while we're in the thawing process, I may be quiet for a bit. That's just allowing the thawing to occur. You can just continue to breathe freely into your heart space and into your belly. It actually is coming up to also honor for any of you who are in a twin flame or divine counterpart connection, that we also honor the counterpart and their inner child. And if it feels aligned and appropriate, you're also welcome to invite them to also participate in this process with you in your own safe divine stream. Of course, in the highest accordance with your soul and your highest self support and guidance. I just sense that there may be some shared pockets if you and your counterpart have similar childhood trauma. This may be supportive for the shared space. I'm really very, very drawn to the heart right now in the solar plexus. I'm very drawn into the right side masculine heart space. And what I'm seeing and feeling and sensing is not only where things were frozen, but suppressed and also inverted. So we're just going to hold space to allow the suppressed information to be released, unraveled, opened up. And any of the information that was inverted and created confusion in the system, I would like to ask to help that to open and unravel and come into true alignment. And I do feel the suppression and the inversion is connected to the ancestral lines. So we're also going to ask to thaw and unravel and dissolve these inversions and suppressions within the ancestral lines. One on your father's side, on the right-hand side behind you, is your father and all of your father's ancestors. And on the left side behind you is your mother and all her ancestors. And I do feel guided to request that as this thaws out through the ancestral lines, again, we can ask for the same support for your counterpart if their energy is aligned and presenting in a way that is supportive for all involved. And with this, as these energies thaw, unravel, dissolve, resolve, it's creating space once again for that true essence of you, your soul, and your divine inner child essence, the magic, the creativity, the playfulness, the joy, the purity. And we're going to ask if it's aligned to restore this for you and through the ancestral lines for any of the ancestors present on earth or crossed over in the energies that are ready to restore their inner child essence. We welcome that to be retrieved and restored. And you may wonder why we would do this with ancestors who have crossed over. Well, look at this and think of it from the quantum energetic perspective where everything is occurring simultaneously. And the impact that it would have on the present and the future generations if all of your ancestors had full access to their divine inner child, to their higher self, to all of their potential, and how that would have impacted not only them, but the future generations, and how the future generations and the current generations, as we do this work, as we embody into our true essences, we're actually holding the space to allow those results to be shared with the past, the present, and the future. And this is exactly how, when we focus on ourselves and we do our part, it actually has a positive effect on all of those connected to us. This is quite a big energy. And as I was feeling before we started, there is quite a bit of frozen inner child essence, both within the personal stream and within the ancestral lines. This is like even a big part of the energy that was frozen before you were even born. So in a lot of cases, you might not even realize that it's there because it wasn't necessarily personal experiences that you've had since you were born. But it was already in your ancestral memories and in your cells at the moment you were conceived. So this is a very important part and piece of the process. Now it makes a lot of sense why I was guided to do this. Even for those of you who have done a lot of inner child work and retrieval and restoration, you may be still feeling and experiencing quite a bit of thawing. This doesn't negate the work that you've done. What you've done is very, very important. And whatever you will do from here is also very important. This is just another support for your overall reparenting process. This is going really good. I can feel so much thawing, especially on that masculine side. Wow. And as the ancestral lines thaw, that's thawing all of that essence within you and creating so much more space for your essence to come home to your body. And I can see and sense where this is meeting with the energy and essence of your own inner child retrieval. So, wow, this was actually a lot bigger than I thought. You're not only retrieving your inner child essence, but a significant amount of space from where the ancestors had once been frozen. And again, yes, for any of you who have children, nieces, nephews, any of that, we'll also ask to share these results with the future generations. That feels really good. I'm starting to see visions of everybody's inner child dancing, sort of thawing out and coming back online. For me, the essence of the inner child and the joy of the inner child is so very yellow. Of course, it can be all of the colors, but oranges and yellows really come through very strong for me with the playfulness of the inner child. I'm seeing and feeling and sensing a beautiful, gorgeous yellow waterfall of joyful inner child liquid light just pouring down all around you directly from your own soul star and higher self, and allowing this beautiful, gorgeous essence to come home to your body and to earth in a way that it hasn't before. Wow. Where there was once frozen ancestral information, now there's space to absorb this gorgeous, beautiful, playful, joyful inner child essence back home to your body, back home to the earth where you've always belonged. Home to your heart, home through your core and all of your being. Welcoming in the inner child essence through the top of your crown chakra and down into your third eye, saturating and supporting your entire nervous system, pouring down deeply into your throat chakra, supporting all of your beautiful creative expressions. and pouring down through your arms and your hands, pouring out of the palms of your hands and infusing into all of your creations and all that you touch. And this beautiful yellow liquid light of joy and playfulness and fun, pouring down into the high heart and the heart in a whole new way, allowing all of those parts that were once frozen to soak up more and more of your essence, your magic, your playfulness, your truth. And allow the beautiful liquid yellow light to continue down through the solar plexus and the rib cage, pouring in beautiful, gorgeous waves, filling in your solar plexus with your true essence and power. Again, as it moves down through your body, thawing your true essence, your inner child, and just gently dissolving, resolving, and unraveling any of the information that's no longer supportive, any of the confusion or the inversion or the suppression, especially as we're moving into the lower chakras. The more I'm working with this session, it feels like such a good complement to the recent Safe, Surrendered, and Free to Be Me session. I'm really sensing quite a bit is thawing and settling in. Really seeing quite a bit, especially on the masculine side, where this part of you finally feels safe enough to let the inner child to be wild and free. Wild and free and safe to be me. Yes. And as you've worked on your internal union energies of your inner feminine and masculine, you have the strength and the power and the nurturing and the nourishment to support and hold this inner child in such a deep and gorgeous way. Allowing all of those gorgeous energies to come together. The safety, the security, the stability, the strength, the surrender, the sovereignty, the creativity, and this beautiful commitment to the union of all of your essences. allowing this beautiful yellow liquid light of your inner child essence to continue to pour down through the sacral chakra and the roots. And I'm actually sensing some more tangled up inverted energies within the sacral chakra. So we're just going to hold space and allow this to dissolve and unravel, realigning to your true essence and allowing more and more of that inner child to drop in into the lower chakras, down into the legs, and home into the earth star chakra in a whole new way. Give thanks and honor the ancestral lines and the future generations. And closing any of the windows or the doors or the energies to the past frozen essences. Everything that's been resolved is now completed, allowing your system to be safe and secure to really support the restoration of your inner child essence in a whole new way. You take some nice deep breaths down into your body, into your core, into your roots. We're just going to hold some space to really allow that inner child essence to fully drop into the body and into the earth connection. Very good. Wow. I can sense that this was very big and that many of you may use this session multiple times. As we honor your higher self, your inner child, your connection to the earth, and feeling your essence in your body in a whole new way. Into your cells, into your bones, into your muscles, into the bone marrow. That each of you be in your own bubble of restoration essence, that beautiful yellow liquid light. As you continue to absorb and integrate whatever is perfect for you, and it will just naturally resolve and align with your system in the most divine and perfect way for you. Very good. Thank you so much for participating. You may find over the next day or a few days that it would be helpful for some gentle movement or walking to just really support that embodiment process as those parts of you come more fully into your physical body and cells. Take care of yourself, hydrate, resource up in whatever ways you are called, rest, rejuvenate, restore. Very, very beautiful, my loves. I hope you enjoyed this. I have a feeling that there's going to be more to come with this. Again, I'll put all of the information in the pinned comment. I would love to hear from you. If you feel guided to share, please feel free to do so. And again, as always, I'm sending you so much love and joy for the restoration of the divine inner child. All right, loves, you take care and have a beautiful rest of your day or night. Much love.